An update on campaign 2016, another intense, fiery Republican presidential debate last night. Joining us now to recap last night's debate, our analyst Joe Fleming, and I will be very disappointed when the political season is over because these debates have been must-see TV, Joe.
The best debates I've ever seen, as far as you don't know what to expect from the three main candidates to this point. You got three of them going into a brawl. You got John Kasich trying to act like an adult and talk about policy. But right now, you want to watch these debates to just see what happens and see what excitement comes out of it.
So Cruz and Rubio once again, sort of teaming up on Donald Trump. Do you think that that's a calculated move by these two guys, or just ends up working out that way?
Well, I think they have to team up on Donald Trump at this point. He has about 45% of the delegates. He's getting close to that 50% mark. Once he gets over that, it's going to be very difficult to stop him. They right now feel they have the voters' reason not to vote for him. But keep in mind, Donald Trump is not going after the establishment vote. He's going after the anti-establishment Republicans. And the more they jump on him as establishment candidates, the stronger it makes him among his supporters. It's tough to take supporters away from Donald Trump. What they're trying to do is stop new supporters from going to Trump.
I would argue that Trump prefers the mudslinging over the policy discussions because if they really press him on those things, he might get lost.
Well, we saw that a little bit last night. They were talking about his cuts. You know, he wants to make these cuts, and then they were showing that his cuts are not big enough to make the things that he wanted to do and support a balanced budget. So I think the more he talks about the issues that are personal instead of policy, the better for him. And I really think he wants to stay away from foreign policy.
Yes. And now John Kasich, as you mentioned, the only adult in the sandbox, so to speak, in the debate last night and all these debates. Now, there is some talk that of a brokered convention. He was talking about that this morning. He says if we win Ohio, he being the governor of Ohio, but I've also heard, Joe, that there's talk that he may drop out before Ohio because the fear of embarrassment of losing in the state that he's the governor in.
Well, the thing is, if you want to stop Donald Trump, he has to stay in the race. He has to win Ohio. Cruz and Rubio will be smart if they sort of stayed away from Ohio and give him a clear shot. At the same time, you want to see Rubio win Florida. The reason is both those states are winner-take-all primaries. The other states are proportional primaries. So if Kasich wins Ohio and Rubio wins Florida, it's going to be a lot harder for Donald Trump to win the nomination, and you possibly could get a brokered convention. All
right, and coming up at 7:30 over on Fox Province, we're going to talk about Mitt Romney.
Yes.
And his, whatever you want to call that, yesterday in Utah, where he basically was the spokesperson for the Republican Party and trying to get everybody on board to
as the establishment.
As the establishment, right. All right, so that's coming up at 7:30. We'll talk about Mitt Romney with Joe. In the meantime, more coverage you can count on coming up here on Eyewitness News this morning on